If somebody asks me what is going on in the state of Nebraska, how do I encapsulate it and boil it down to a couple basic ideas? Tell me, Lynn, how do you see the things unfolding right now? I would only use 2 words, only 2 words. Each word has 2 letters in it. Oh, that's how succinct I would use to define what's happening in our state of Nebraska, here in the business and in the civic sectors of our state. Now, the first one I'm going to show you right here, you'll see it right off the bat, and here it is. Right? It's a cover of a book. The book says Creating We, and of course the word we has 2 letters. I think we is 50% of what I'm getting at right now, right off the bat. I have to tell you, I talk to so many people that feel isolated, believe it or not, in this internet era, and feel like they don't really know where they're going. They don't know what is in front of them. They're not sure who they are, what their best interests should be. And so they're looking for relationships. They want somebody to stand by me, you know. And so that's what the we I just showed you right here is all about. People are looking for helpful relationships, even in and particularly in a business or career background. That's number 1. Keep that in mind. But here's another word, 2 letters as well. I'm sorry I don't have the graphic for this, but you'll get it. Instead of we, this word is do. That's right. I'm going to talk a lot about do, or a lot about action. There's a lot of people out there that like to chat about this or that, or I wonder how that's going to work out, or I don't know, maybe the company should do this. I don't know, I'm going to go home for dinner, you know, etc. And on it goes, and there isn't any action, there isn't any, quote, do. So the 2 words, we and do, I think define our manifesto, our mandate, what we should be thinking about and doing, of course, as we move forward right here in the state of Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. Thanks for joining me today. As you probably can see, I have a hat on today. I don't normally wear a hat here on the show, but I was wearing this hat just the other day, just bopping around, kind of having fun with my wife and grandchildren, and walked by a young couple, probably in their 20s. And the young man looked at me just briefly, you know, and said, hey, I like that hat. I like your hat. And I was intrigued by the gesture. He didn't have to do that. And I said, you know, thanks a lot. But what's interesting to me is that we all have or want, once we figure out who we are and what we're trying to become, right, then it's interesting to find out, how do we define ourselves? What actually kind of carves out who we are and of course, our personality type and all that. And so I was thinking about that, and then I also thought about something very similar. And I'm going to take off the hat. You can see I have a dark jacket and a dark t-shirt underneath. So suddenly it's different, right? I don't have a straw hat anymore. I have a much more somber and executive level persona. So that's also kind of interesting. You know, I'll just come right out and say this. If you don't have a well-designed and well-thought-out personal brand, just as important as Mutual of Omaha has a personal brand, or First National Bank has a personal brand, or Nebraska here in Omaha has a personal brand, or corporate brand rather. So you need to have your personal brand. It's more important than it's ever been to define who you are and project it energetically and confidently as you walk anywhere. I don't care if it's into the kitchen or into a bar or a restaurant or meeting with doesn't matter. Personal brands are invaluable. Now, I'm not going to belabor that particular point. I've got so much to visit with you about today. And so thank you for joining me here on WowBiz Nebraska. Now, interesting thing. You know, art is something that some people, they don't think much about it. They don't really care about it too much. It's not their thing. Maybe they like a little illustration now and then, or something in the paper or something. Others take it very seriously and understand that it has, how should I say it, symbolic importance, right? And some people say, well, you know, I really like the picture of the mountain or the corn or the elkhorn area, whatever it is. But then, like I said before, other people prefer something a little more abstract and a little more, well, it becomes personal. So I'm going to show you some art right now. And I believe that there is an art of profitability. And that's partially what this is all about. I'm not just here to show you some art. I think it has importance. But I also have, related to the art, I think 7 different points. So I'd grab a pen and a paper if you're inclined to learn, kind of like Oprah Winfrey. She has all these books and stuff like that in her house. And somebody said, why do you constantly are reading, Oprah? And she says, I want to learn. I never get tired of learning. And I'm always seeking solutions to evasive and obscure problems. So maybe a little bit of that has rubbed off on me. But anyway, so I'm going to show you this art right now. It's called Strategy as Art. That's the first thing. And I'm just going to show it here. You'll see, as you take a look at these blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 16 images here, all very colorful, all different from the one that's adjacent to them, right? As you scan these images, you might want to get close up on it and take a good look at each of these images, because you'll see quickly they are similar. They seem to be related, but they are also quite different from each other. Now, they don't have anything that means anything specifically, right? It's not a realistic approach. It's an abstract expressionism approach. But it is beautiful, in my personal opinion. A lot of people will tell me that. And it's kind of cool to link them. Obviously, it's a right brain thing. But if you link them to the text that runs through the images, and I'm going to go ahead and read them off now very quickly. This is, again, a business strategy show utilizing art to grab your attention and come at things from a different angle. So I'm going to set this down here, and I'm going to quickly, somebody says, you know, Lynn, I don't know what we should be doing in 2026. We just seem to be just going the same way. We're not really going in any direction. You got any ideas for us? And of course, my response is going to be, yeah, I got seven good ideas. So here we go. Number 1, look for an unmet need. Now that's easy to say. It's a short sentence, but not everybody can see that. You have to really look at culture and look around you. This is how innovation works, by the way. People go, you know, if that shovel over there had this kind of a grip and it had a different shape at the bottom or something like that, then you could do something completely different, you know, whatever it is. Not literally, of course, but that's kind of how it flows, where people see how something could be different or better and meet an unmet need, as they say. Number 2, apply a value-creating idea from another industry. You know, Pablo Picasso, the great artist, said this. He said, I steal from everyone and everywhere. I go wherever it is, whatever makes sense to me at the time. I find it, I play with it, I put it on top of the other images I have over here. I kind of like the way it looks. I switch it around. Suddenly it's beautiful. I like it really well. But then I see something over here, you know, and it looks like that's really interesting the way it turns. I'm going to take that over here. Boom. I'm going to do something similar. This is how he became the genius painter, as we all know. And the principle is the same. If you're out there looking for, we don't want just a plain old product, obviously. We got to do something special. It's got to be unique. This is what number 2, apply value creating idea from another industry, really implies. Number 3, study the customer journey. All right? Customer's going down the street, driving his car, trying to figure out whether he should go here or go there. Who your customers work with prior to and after they buy your product. Now this is fundamental. I mean, almost everybody gets this. If you have here's the interaction, right, with your company, your product, and they're buying it or looking at just about getting ready to go ahead and buy that. And you ask yourself, what led up to this? What preceded that moment? And then, of course, he purchases it. But then right after that, what does he do with it? Take it back to his wife and show it to her, or throw it in the back of the car, or go see a new employer, or may share it with a new customer, whatever it is, right? So then you're going, before he bought it, something could have been happening there. Maybe we could do something interesting there. And then right afterwards, you know, a same deal. Maybe there's some enhancement or personalization that we could lay on it that would make it really special, above and beyond just the moment of purchase. Kind of cool. Number 4, defamiliarize. That's what these images were that you just took a look at a minute ago. Kind of unfamiliar looking pictures, of course. Find a new message that makes people think differently about your company. Now, this is interesting. Obviously, it's an advertising-oriented suggestion, and you don't have to necessarily always do the same thing everybody else in the industry does. We're great, we're great, we're great. Bullet point here, bullet point there. Come see us, 10% off. Right? We see that everywhere. It's boring, and it's not the way we want to see it done. Find a symbol. We've got to find a symbol. Some simple thing that go on the side of the building or the office or your vehicle or your website or whatever. But symbols are very powerful, and some people can't even explain what they are or how they feel with them. But they really think that's pretty cool, and I'll remember that. I don't know about any of that, but I'll remember that symbol right there. Okay, moving quickly here into the middle of our show. Embrace knowledge as added value. In other words, create a product that has knowledge embedded in it, that challenges you to get better at something or learn something, or if we do this, then we can do that, and that would be a whole new different thing. And so there's knowledge that really defines what the product is and how it interacts with the customer. Now, we've got 2 or 3 more. I'm gonna hold off. I'm not gonna go any further with this particular topic because this is an important one. I know many of you are scratching down notes because this is invaluable, and I have other material a little bit later on equally helpful in terms of differentiating your product, creating the wow factor, standing out, and getting a new customer easily. I'll see you soon at the end of the show. Bye-bye. You know, we take just a minute here to give some congratulations and some credibility to a company called Trust TV. Trust TV is an operation, it's a video operation that goes out and talks to business owners, all kinds of people, particularly realtors would be an example, entrepreneurs, people like that need to define who they are, what they stand for, why their product or service is better than everybody else's. And kind of just share, you know, the heart and soul of who they are and what they believe in. Because when you see these videos, and by the way, they can be 8 minutes. Trust TV tells us they can do 2 things: 8-minute long interviews and also 4-minute long interviews. And of course, they utilize a professional person who is used to doing this kind of thing in a news environment or a journalism environment. Kind of keeps it loose and upbeat and so on. But that's the real idea, is to ask the questions of a business owner or a real estate person, a salesperson of his own. What makes you tick? Why is your product any better than anybody else's? And these kinds of questions are exactly what the buyer wants to know. That's the beauty of the thing. They're always at home going, you know, I don't know really what they're trying to say, and they emphasize this, but I'm more interested in these other things, right? That's what it's all about when Trust TV comes on the scene. They'll go onto your website, they'll go onto social media. The interviewer is very professional. He'll put a sheen or a polish on it, so to speak, a little bit of music in the background. And that's how you make a sale. That's how you stand out above all others. For every one person that's Trust TV, there's another 100 that are going, how did she do that? I wish we could do that. Check out Trust TV, ladies and gentlemen. You'll never forget the importance strategically for your company. Bye-bye. Well, thanks for watching us here on WowBiz Nebraska. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. It's been a great show so far, and there's a lot more coming, so hang tight and be sensitive to the fact that you're being exposed to new ideas, fresh ideas. We're in an interesting cultural era, as we all know, an economic era. A lot of people are saying, well, you know, I'm not sure what to do with a pricing angle or profitability, or do we just keep on going, or do we pull back, or maybe now would be a great time to expand since our competitors don't seem to be doing hardly anything. These are all legitimate questions. And of course, just before this promotional ad, we were taking a look at the imagery, the art as progress, profitability, and so on. I'm going to hold it up one more time just to remind you of what we're looking at. We're going to be talking about the two sentences at the very bottom. They're kind of the base of this incredible graphic that you're looking at right now. So once again, there were a couple different ideas, 7 ideas. We had mentioned that knowledge adds value. So when the customer is looking to buy something, they gravitate to the most knowledgeable salesperson in your organization. Hopefully that's you, but that's definitely a key idea. But there's something else. Create alliances. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about alliances in a minute, but most people don't even think about it. Most people just, and it's such a waste of time that they don't really grab it. They don't understand, holy smokes, you mean I've got this guy over here and these people over here and they like me and they send me referrals and I help them and I lower my costs so their customer can afford it. And it's really a very interesting way to gender or engender who you are, to define who you are through other people. This is kind of what I'm trying to get to say. And and it makes life easier. You just get much more done in a short period of time if you have an alliance with him or her, and both of you kind of agree on the values that comprise and shape your coalition or your alliance. It's very, very interesting and worth digging into, by the way. So anyway, that is those are 8 key ideas that create value. I'm going to give you some more things along those lines here in a minute, but do not forget that at this point in time, people, again, seem to be a little confused about what they should be doing at the office. Should they be getting out? Should I be talking to my customers and finding something out? I just don't quite know where the sweet spot is in the operations of the company. And I'm going to tell you right now, 3 words. Right? We're going to go on to other things here that answer this question, but 3 words are the words that really make sense. And if you get your team around you and a few people that know the company and so on, get them right there and say, hey, I'm going to share 3 words with you. There's a natural progression from these 3 words, and we'll see where it takes us. Here are the 3 words that you've got to have. You've got to have, and you have to know when you can push the button, so to speak, in this regard. The first one is equity. Equity. That means you kind of have something, you own something, you have a reputation. That would be an example of equity. You walk in, somebody says, oh yeah, that guy over there, he does this and that. We use him every now and then. He's got equity. We respect what he's all about, all right? Equity. You got to have that first. Secondly, leverage. Once you've got equity, then you have to be able to leverage it. You have to be able to say, well, I know a guy over here, I worked with him a couple of years ago. I'm sure that he would lower your price over here so his daughter-in-law could get into the house and so on. And I'm sure that he would actually maybe do some furnishings just to kind of spiff it up. And he would do it probably for me. But, the bottom line is you can leverage who you are. Once again, back to the personal brand. What you believe in, who you stand for. People say, I'm on his side. Whatever he says, we'll kind of go in that direction. All right. So that's leverage. And then finally, momentum. So we've gone from equity, a relative amount of power, but it's not moving a lot, right? And then we get leverage, which we just discussed. But now it's momentum. With leverage, you kind of had to respond. Somebody had to bring out to you and say, yeah, sure, I'll be happy to do that, Lynn, because I kind of know you and everything. So somebody's reaching out. But with momentum, it's not that way. Everybody who knows me, we'll use that as an example right now, is rushing together collectively with a good attitude, a good spirit. We have momentum. We're going that way. We're going over here. We're going that way, man. All of us. I wouldn't leave you behind. Stick with me. Let's go. We're going to go do that. That's right. So momentum. Bam, bam, bam. Made a sale. They love it. Gonna do back. Come back. Sale. Right. There's momentum. All right. So that's how you want things to unfold in general. You say, who do we have equity with? And by the way, if somebody says, nobody really, you say, well, maybe we should write some white papers. Maybe we should get a little publicity. Maybe we should create a little, some kind of an event. Maybe I should start a brand new campaign or some kind of a branding thing or whatever. That's how you create equity. And then when people start to say, by the way, I like that thing you're doing there. I think that's pretty cool. If you'd like to get me in on that, or if I can help you, let me know. I think you're on the right track there. Fine. We'll work with you. We'd love to have your help. Boom, boom, boom. We have leverage. And then, of course, momentum. Everybody gets it. Nobody has to get explained to it. Whatever the concept is. Now, we talk a little bit about urban natural design, right? This is a big hot idea, a big trend. By putting together opposites, could be metal and wood in many cases. When you go interior inside of a building, that would be urban and natural. It's one trend. There's many other examples. But when you do that, all of a sudden people go, that's pretty, I like that. I like that. I've seen that before. We don't have that here. Our house is a little more traditional, but I really like that idea right there. And all of a sudden, there's momentum. Come on over here, you guys, my neighbors. Come on over. I got to show you something. Oh, yeah. I really like that. I'm going to have my husband help me. Well, maybe we'll do the same thing. Momentum. That's how sales growth occurs in the face of economic malaise. All right. So now you understand. I'm going to come back at the back end of our show here, and I'm going to help the Trust TV people out, because I really believe in what they are doing. And I know they do it well. But there are a lot of people out there that are shy, I don't know, I put on some pounds last year. I don't know if I really want to go on camera and talk about my company till I lose some weight, or she says I'm bald, or, whatever, all right? And those guys don't understand that the person that's going to watch this video, they're going to love your homespun look, just your authentic look, the regular person that you are. Because what they want is they want to be educated. They want to get to the core. They want to hear from the very owner who's been around here for a long time exactly what his product or service does, what problem that solves, whatever it is, right? And how it compares to other products in the category. This is a heck of a way to educate without being pushy. We're the best. Everybody loves us. It doesn't have to be like that, although your interviewer will say those kinds of things kind of as a punctuation mark in a way, so that the viewer can kind of take a gasp for a second and then rethink about what you just said and so on. But Trust TV is powerful. It's much more powerful than most print vehicles. I can't think of anything that is as powerful or emotional. This is the other thing in marketing and advertising. Everybody knows this. You want to get to the heart and soul of the viewer, right? You can say, well, yeah, we have this and we have that, and it's really nice and blah, blah, blah. But what you're really looking for is, this came out of nowhere. We got so lucky when we picked it up. People are calling us almost in tears, thanking us. It's something I've never seen before. We offer it to people, even at lower prices, because we want everybody in the world to have what we have here, and we appreciate it so much. In fact, we donate to the college and everybody. We help people out over there in social responsibility. Well, whatever it is, we're doing that because we really believe in you, Mr. Customer, and your ability to work with us to take care of them and help those people and contribute a little money to these people over here. That's a heart and soul deal right there. Now I'm going to show you a picture real quick, and nobody I've ever talked to can disagree with this, but I think you can see there is power in being seen. Power in being seen. Everybody has a story, see? And your customers don't want to come up and say, excuse me, tell me your story. It doesn't go like that, right? But if you have the right interviewer, somebody who is empathic, authentic, maybe even a little bit emotional, and you're sharing your idea and your products and your heart and soul, what you believe in and so on, people will love this image and love to hear what you're sharing with them. All right, so there's an awful lot of cool things going on right now. It's just a matter of where do we go first and how do we bundle things together. I'm talking about marketing tools or tactics. What if, can we still knock on doors, or do we send emails to people? Do we utilize, Google email? Do we do that? Do we go online and post a long listing of opportunities or things that we believe in? I mean, people have all these questions. First, you have to believe that it matters that what you do matters. There has to be a sense of this has got to get out there somehow, right? And you've seen it. You've seen all these cool images, equity, leverage, and momentum. You understand what that means. And let me just share this briefly as we wrap up. You'll see here, this is an image. It's a 25-page document, and it's yours at no charge. We will give it to you if you can get a hold of newbraska.com. This has a lot of incredible, I mean, in 3 minutes, you can learn something. It might take you 3 hours to figure out about how to market this or how to position that way or how to deal with your organization and your crew and all that stuff. All that stuff is overwhelming with 30 minutes with this particular 25-page document called The Way Forward, right? The Way Forward in Nebraska. You'll get the information that you're looking for quickly. And all these things that I've talked about up to this point, whether it's art, whether it's equity and leverage and momentum, whether it's creating more value, whether it's going to the customer in new and special ways, whether it's developing alliances and coalitions and various groups, all those things add up to plus, plus, plus. I'm Lynn Hinderaker. Thanks for watching us right here on WowBiz Nebraska. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.